If you are flying after 60, the biggest travel mistake is not always paying too much. It is often focusing on the wrong kind of value. A lot of older travelers compare fares. They check baggage. They pick a departure time. Then they stop there. But the parts that make a trip feel hard usually show up somewhere else. Long walks, crowded boarding, bad seat choices, confusing connections, delays when you do not know what help to ask for. So this video is not about flashy upgrades, and it is not about fake senior discounts. It is about 9 practical travel perks older travelers often miss, the kind that can save energy, reduce stress, and sometimes save money too. Because after 60, a better trip is often not the one that costs the least. It is the one that asks the least from you. That is the real shift here. Travel value is not only about getting a lower fare. Sometimes the best perk is the one that helps you walk less, wait less, rush less, recover faster. So, as we go through these, think about them that way. Not as luxury, not as status, as practical support. The first perk is airport assistance. A lot of people hear that and immediately think, that is only for someone with very serious mobility issues. But for many older travelers, the real problem is not whether they can walk at all. It is whether they want to spend a huge airport day walking, standing, rushing, and arriving at the gate already drained. This is one of those perks that can quietly change the whole trip. Less distance, less pressure, less connection anxiety. And that leads to an important pattern you will hear again in this video. Some of the best perks only help if you ask for them before the day goes wrong. The second perk is choosing a trip that gives you better support. A lot of travelers compare flights as if the ticket price tells the whole story. But for older travelers, the real value can be somewhere else. An easier connection, a clearer support line, a more manageable airport, a route that is less punishing, a booking setup that is easier to change if something goes wrong. This is one of the biggest mindset upgrades in the whole video. The cheapest option is not always the best option. Sometimes the better trip is the one with less friction built into it. The third perk is smarter seat selection. A lot of people treat seat selection as an annoying extra charge. Sometimes it is. But sometimes it is one of the most useful travel purchases in the whole trip. An aisle seat, a seat that makes it easier to stand up, a seat closer to the front, a seat that reduces stress on a tight connection. That is the reframe. You are not always buying a better seat. You may be buying an easier travel day. The fourth perk is not just assistance itself, it is asking for it early. A lot of travelers wait until they arrive at the airport. They assume they will explain things on the day. But crowded travel days are exactly when small problems turn into bigger ones. If you know you may want wheelchair help, extra boarding support, connection support, or help navigating a large airport, the real perk is often getting that request into the system early. The fifth perk is early boarding, or any boarding option that gives you more time and less chaos. This point is easy to misread. It is not about feeling important. It is about not being rushed, not fighting the crowd, not being pushed into a stressful boarding wave. For many older travelers, that extra calm is the perk. You get a little more time to settle in, store your bag, sit down, get comfortable before the cabin turns hectic. The sixth perk is checking baggage rules for medication, mobility aids, and assistive devices. This is not the most glamorous item on the list, but for the people who need it, it can be one of the most important. A lot of travelers never look closely at these rules. They assume everything works like normal baggage, but that is not always true. Sometimes there are special procedures, sometimes there are exceptions. Sometimes there is support you only discover if you check before travel day. The seventh perk is using card benefits or fare bundles more strategically. This is where a lot of people think too narrowly. They ask only one question: is it cheaper? But older travelers often need to ask a better question: does this remove enough hassle to be worth it? A free checked bag, priority boarding, lounge access on a long day, better flexibility if plans change, travel protection that keeps a bad day from getting worse. Not every paid perk is worth it, but some of them are not really money plays. They are friction reduction plays. The eighth perk is lounge access, but not in the way travel ads usually frame it. For older travelers, the value is often not prestige, it is recovery. On a long layover, a delay, or a draining airport day, a quieter space, a seat that is easier to keep, simple food, easier bathroom access, and a calmer environment can make a real difference. That does not mean lounge access is always worth buying, but it does mean it should be judged as a comfort tool, not only as a status extra. The ninth perk is less about a published benefit and more about a hidden advantage, knowing that help may exist during a disruption. A lot of travelers treat delays, cancellations, and missed connections as pure bad luck, and sometimes they are. But experienced travelers also know something else. The outcome can change depending on what you ask, how quickly you ask, and who you ask. Rebooking help, connection support, alternate routing, practical assistance when the day starts breaking down. This is why I wanted this point at the end. Because after 60, one of the most useful perks is not just a published benefit. It is knowing support may exist and being ready to ask for it. So the big takeaway is simple. After 60, travel value is not just price, it is support, comfort, flexibility, less walking, less waiting, less confusion, less stress. A lot of the best travel perks are not the flashy ones. They are the ones that leave you with more energy by the end of the day. So before your next flight, do not just compare fares. Check what would actually make the trip easier. Because a smarter trip is not always the cheaper trip. Sometimes it is the one that asks less from you.